and welcome to Parallax, where we look at life from how we work. Joining us today is Bill the Barber. Bill Puller is owner of Blue Spark Barbershop, and he's been cutting hair for over a decade. Bill, thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me.
Talk a little bit about what a typical day looks like.
Well, we show up, get coffee ready, make sure the beer's stocked in the fridge, and pull the blinds, open the door, and wait for the onslaught.
About how many heads a day do you get?
We're averaging between 40 and 45 right now.
Let's talk a little bit about life before Barbershop. You were working in the restaurant business. What were you doing?
The last thing I did was bartending, but I had about 15 years on the line, just as a line cook. Didn't have a culinary degree, just, learned as I went, built my way up from the dish pit to line cook, and it was a good experience, allowed me to move around the country, and, I had a portable job, but, got burned out on it after a while and had to find a new path.
What skills did you learn as a bartender that you brought over to the barbershop?
Obviously, there's a lot of crossover there. People skills, obviously, being able to, the gift of the gab, as they call it. I think I'm pretty good at that. It's social. The social skills is where the crossover is mostly needed going into barbering. So I can talk.
Talk about the experience of cutting hair. You've been doing it for over a decade now,
Well, after about 17 years in the restaurant business, had enough of that and needed to do something that would support a family and have a life and blah, blah, blah. Wanted to do something that I felt was a little creative, not an artist, but something that I get to use my hands, and when I'm done, hey, wow, look what I did. Very cool. So looked into barbering, checked out our local barber college, Averas, and sounded like a good thing for myself. So went through the course. That was about 14 years ago, and after bouncing around a few shops, I opened Blue Spark 5 years ago, and here we are.
So you'll use a straight razor on someone's neck. Do you ever do like shave faces?
I haven't done straight razor shaves on the face, full shaves, for a long time. To do a proper straight razor shave takes 40, 45 minutes. It's many steps. The whole purpose of a straight razor shave is to precondition the skin, do the service, post-condition the skin, and that way when you're walking out, you feel more refreshed. Unfortunately, I kind of stopped doing the service probably 10 years ago because Murphy's Law, somebody walk in for a shave and 5 people would walk in behind them, and it just would bog the line down too much. So
you're faced with this problem where you have a pretty high demand, so now you've got to figure out the other part.
Which has been the hardest thing for me, knowing the right time to add another person where it doesn't cut into the other employees that are there, their income, my income.
This may be a dumb question, but talk about some of the tools that you use. I know that you use scissors, but I don't know if there's different ones that you use for different kinds of hair, if it's thick hair, thin hair, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, there's a lot of different tools and implements. Shears, scissors are actually called shears, if you're using the proper term. Blending shears versus styling shears. The styling shear tends to be a little shorter, and that's for, actually when you're layering the hair, lifting with your fingers and cutting into it, versus what's called scissor over comb, where you take the comb, scoop the hair up, and move the comb with your scissor, and that's called scissor over comb. I use every tool available to me. I wouldn't use a screwdriver if I had a drill. It's just, I have a lot of people are very nostalgic about this profession too, and I can appreciate it. I think it's interesting. I think it's cool, but I don't really. That's not where my interest lies within the field itself. I wanted to cut hair, and I want to do it in today, not over romanticize the 40s and the 50s and the 60s of barbershops.
Well, the people in the 50s and the 60s didn't have a website or a Facebook page, but Bill the Barber does. You can find him at bluesparkbarbershop.com, and you can find him on Facebook just searching for the same thing. Thanks for joining us. We'll catch you next time. In the meantime, keep it between the white line and the business.